Hey there, it's Renessa. I want to drop this pocket coaching for you. If you are somebody who's been trying to figure out your quote unquote passion and purpose, if you've been trying to imagine what meaningful work might look like for you, then this quick audio will shatter some really damaging myths that you have about passion, about what it looks like, and how to find it. And I would bet money that a few of these misconceptions have kept you stuck. They have you feeling confused. They are slowing your progress towards getting highly paid to do work you love. Now, a lot of women come to me with the express goal of finding their passion. Um, and I always say that if you are committed to getting highly paid doing work you love, what's my passion is the wrong question to focus on. And I will not get into all the reasons why that is. That is a conversation for another day. But I do want to talk about passion today. Why? Because you're talking about passion. And I want to break down the art and science of it so that you understand how it actually works. Now, most women don't realize that passion is not something that you find. Passion is not something that you discover. Passion finds you. Passion validates itself in you. It's something that you have to actually experience to even recognize. And the problem is that most women have never actually experienced passion. And when I'm talking about passion, I'm talking about passion around your work. I'm not talking about other kind of passions that people might experience. So you're waiting for this feeling, this divine like lightning bolt of grace that says this is what you were born to do, and this and that and the other. And it just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. There are some people who are very clear on their passion. Like we see them, we sometimes envy them. They are the Ryan Seacrest's of the world, who had a microphone in his hand at the age of 4. So radio and TV and hosting and all of that was always in his life. Or they're professional athletes who've been training since they were knee high. Or it's your college friend who has always, as far as they can remember, wanted to be a doctor, right? They know their passion because they experienced it. They experienced something that lit a fire under them. They experienced something that they were willing to sacrifice their time, their talent, their money, their energy, their practice and repetition for. They experienced something that created this increasing fascination inside them. They just happened to experience it at a very young age. Most of you haven't experienced that. Somebody might flippantly say, oh, I'm passionate about interior design. But let me tell you, binge watching HGTV and oohing and ahhing over a living room makeover does not make you passionate. You have to test what you like for passion to take hold and to actually be verified in you. Passion is not this innate knowing. You don't come out of the womb like, oh, I know this is what I was born. No, passion is verified in you. So when I was in my 20s, since we're talking about interior design, I'm going to share with you my interior design story. So when I was in my 20s, I was very interested in interior design. And I had earned an industrial engineering degree in college. So I was a techie by training, and I was very early in my professional career. Yeah, but I was bored. I was burned out. I was completely unfulfilled. I was like, I made the wrong decision. I hate this. And I really did hate my job. But I had this fanciful idea that maybe I would go back to school and study interior design. And you might have your own, wishful thinking about, going back to culinary school or doing something radically different. Maybe you're lamenting the lost dream that you never pursued because mama said and daddy said, and you ended up going down some path that you're like, this sucks, like whatever. But for me, I had never done any kind of actual interior design outside of decorating my apartments, which is not interior design, by the way. And so I had not earned the right to actually say, oh, I'm passionate about interior design. So I hadn't tested it. I hadn't experienced it. So I didn't know what passion even felt like in this space, right? So I enrolled into the Corcoran School of Art and Design in Washington, D.C. And at the end of my full-time 6-figure corporate gig, I would go to night school for interior design. So I took a semester or a quarter or whatever. I don't even know how many weeks the class was. And so the class was fun. You know, it was interesting. It was that all kinds of variety. It was new and it was hard as hell. Like, class was hard. And again, I was an engineer, so I've had hard classes. I know what hard is. And this class, while it wasn't an engineering class, it was certainly not for the faint of heart. Like they weren't playing around. And I literally had a friend who had to pull me off the ledge when I considered quitting. I was like, I don't need this, I was out. But I persevered through the class and I finished the class. And the reality is anything worth having is going to be hard. And so it wasn't about it being hard. Being hard wasn't the issue. I've done hard things. We've all done hard things, right? And I'd even considered after the class, I'd considered enrolling in a 4-year program at a local university that had an interior design program. And so I'd gone to the orientation, I'd talked to the professors, I'd done all the things, and once I realized what the average salary was for new designers, I was like, oh no, thank you. No, thank you. I am tapping out. Like, this is not for the kid. I'm done. And the reality is, right, even though the average salary is pretty low, I'm a firm believer, and y'all have heard me say this, in any profession, there's some people who make a little bit of money and there's some people who make a lot of bit of money. And so I always believe that you can go and make a lot of bit of money. But what I realized is that I didn't have the fire in my belly to be one of the exceptions. I wasn't willing to dedicate the time, the talent, the money, the energy, the practice, the repetition, and all the things I mentioned before in interior design. I wasn't willing to pay the price to evolve into the woman that I would inevitably need to become to succeed. I didn't have the passion, because passion would have pushed through the good, the bad, the hard, the easy. It's an irresistible pull. But I wouldn't have known that I didn't have the passion had I not tested it. Had I not tested it, I wouldn't have known that until I invested some time, until I invested some energy, until I invested some money, until I sacrificed some nights working on these projects and trying to deliver, until I felt the emotions, until I hit the walls, until I overcame, the walls. Like, it didn't take long. Like, it was a class, right? I don't know how many weeks the class was. It didn't take long, but I still had to invest something, right? What does this mean for you? Again, you might be expecting this feeling to be this ethereal, like, check, feelings come and go. Just because you're excited about something doesn't mean that you're passionate about it, right? You might be expecting this spiritual knowing before you get going, but it's in the going that the knowing actually is validated. It's validated. And so many of us are in places where we don't want to do that kind of work because we think, oh, it's going to take so long, or, oh, it's going to take so much money, or, oh, what if I'm wrong? And, oh, this and that and the other. But that is par for the course for you to figure out where you belong. Like, there's no getting around it. And the reality is, most times it doesn't take that long. It doesn't take that long to validate. I'll probably share a little bit about how that works in a moment. But typically there are 3 types of women who come into my Perfect Work programs. The first type of woman is, she already knows what she's passionate about. Like, they know what they want to do. They know how they want to contribute in the marketplace. They know the impact that they want to have, whether it be in a career or business. Like, they may need to figure out, some granularity and get clear about some things, but they have this kind of general picture and this direction, and they're just trying to figure out the pathway to the cash. Like, how do I message this? How do I position myself? All those things, but they have this idea of where they want to go. The other, 2 groups of women have no idea what they want to be when they grow up, so to speak. And they may be at various, positions along the spectrum of clueless, right? And so our job together is to connect the dots to their interests, to their skills, to their personal story, to kind of where they are in the marketplace and all that, to figure out where they belong in the marketplace, to figure out how could they get highly paid, for it. And so, the goal is for them to have this objective kind of viewpoint of, man, I can see how these pieces fit together. I can see how I'm, uniquely and particularly designed to do this thing. Like, I can see it. It's not about the emotions. It's not about, oh my gosh, I'm so in love with this idea. It's not about all that. Because emotions can come and go. Emotions are influenced by all kinds of things, by your insecurities, by your fears, by unconscious limiting beliefs and all of that. So it's not about the emotion. It's about really being able to put the pieces of your life together to kind of figure out what objectively makes sense here and what's a sequence that can get you where you say you want to go. Then from there, the goal is to test that, because the passion will reveal itself in the testing. The passion will find you. And in that space, there's two different women that will show up within that group. There's the first group of women who are like, bet. They completely embrace the test. They will lean in. They will try the elevator pitch. They will show up with that new identity. They'll do the surveying. They'll ask the questions. They'll make the connections. They'll test the product. They'll test the service. They will get out there and face plant. They will tweak it. They will figure out what they like, what they don't like, what worked, what didn't work. They'll deal with their fears and the ego and all the things, because they're going to test it. And in the doing of that, passion will reveal itself. They'll have these moments where they're like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe I did this for something. I'm so excited about the result. I'm so excited about the impact. I'm so excited about the thing. And it'll reveal itself, or it'll be like, hell no, I'm not doing this. Ain't no way. Like, I just didn't know, right? But but they're willing to test it. Then you have another group who is sitting on the sidelines. They're overanalyzing. They're in their heads because they don't feel passionate. They don't feel the warm and fuzzy. They don't feel the thing, not realizing that they have no frame of reference from which to feel it. You don't feel passion until you experience it. You can't be passionate about a thing until you get in the thing. It's just how it works, right? And so I want to eliminate this fallacy about passion being a feeling. Feeling excited about something, I said this before, doesn't make you passionate. Trusting your excitement will have you dibbling and dabbling. It'll have you having all these different ideas that you start, but never finish, never really push through to see if it has legs. And it's like, oh, well, this isn't going to work, or, oh, I'm not interested, or, oh, I'm not passionate about this. You'll know if you're passionate about it. You haven't done it long enough to get a result, to even see how you feel about the result, right? And so if you've been thinking about passion in this way, I want to break you free of that. I want to break you free of having this expectation that is going to have you sitting exactly where you are 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 24 months from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But if you are someone who wants to figure out where you belong in the marketplace, if you want to get highly paid doing work you love, if you want passion to find you, then I want you to schedule a free perfect work strategy session. Somewhere on this page, there is a link, something for you to click, a button. I don't know if it's on a page, in an email, in a description box, wherever. There's a place for you to be able to schedule a perfect work strategy session. And let's figure out how you're going to navigate this for you, right? Because the world is waiting for you. The marketplace is waiting for you to show up and do something that is real and valuable and meaningful. And I would love to partner with you and help you figure that out. I would love to help you to get that clarity. I would love to help you navigate through the testing phase so that the passion can find you. All right. So with that, I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.